All right. So first thing is with the gallery, obviously going to be how to log in. Big thing, obviously. Easiest way to do that is actually by just going straight to your Einstein website. So for example, if I go here to dentistrysandiego.com, I can scroll on down on the homepage here or any page of the website. And when I get down to the footer, literally the last thing listed on the website here is a little login button. So if I click on that login button, it's going to take me to the Einstein extranet, which looks similar to this. And this is going to be where you're going to log in. Now, if you don't know your login credentials, that's okay. There is a forgot your password utility here, but if you have trouble with that or whatever, you can reach out to us. Our team's happy to help you out, make sure that you can get in here. But again, this is going to be your username and password for your specific account here at Einstein. Now, once you log in, so go ahead and do that now. You're going to be directed to an interface that looks just like this. So this is actually logged into the account. Now, when we're working with the photo gallery, it is plugged into our website, but one thing to kind of keep in mind is it's separate from the website. It's an application that plugs into the website. So under My Applications here, you've got all your different applications you have access to, Lucid to edit your website, Blog for blogging, and then today, obviously, what we're going to take a look at is the photo gallery. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the photo gallery application icon here. And you can see it opens up in a new tab for me. So now I'm into my photo gallery. So that's at least square one, logging in gets us in there. And then now from here, we're actually free to start adding images as needed. So one thing that you can kind of keep in mind when you're working with the photo gallery is it's almost like a structure of folders. So much like your desktop on your computer, you've got a desktop folder and you can create a folder on your desktop and, put files inside of that folder. That's kind of the way that this works as well. So from the very top level, we have obviously our gallery, but what we're going to do is we're going to create different categories. And really a category is just a procedure. So every category is the same as a procedure, and every procedure has a different process, different before and after image. So here on our account category screen, you'll see different categories listed if you have them created. If you don't have anything created yet, or if you're adding a new procedure that maybe you just started offering, that's okay. What you can do here is there is a big plus button that says Add Category. So I can click on Add Category here, and then I can actually create a category from scratch. So on the right-hand side of my screen, I've got a drop-down for some default categories that we've created for you already. You'll see there's both dentistry and cosmetic surgery in here as well. Let's just pretend that we're doing a category here for Invisalign. So when I click on Invisalign, it's going to load a stock image that we've already predetermined goes, kind of hand in hand with Invisalign. If you want to, you can change this. I would say go ahead and stick with the default for now, unless you at some point want to change it later. But that'll at least get you something to start with. Now, if you find that your procedure is not in this dropdown, that's okay. You can actually type in a title here manually. So instead of it being Invisalign, maybe it's some other procedure. And then you can also, again, upload and choose the file here for your custom image to show here as the category image. Once I'm all set and done with that, I can just hit Create Category, and boom, our Invisalign category is all set. So going back here to the list of categories, again, we have dental implants that was there before. We've got Invisalign, which I created already. You can see here there's 0 cases. So there's no patients added in there, and it's hidden because there's nothing in there. The system's smart enough to know if there's nothing in there to show, then let's not show it. So it's going to go ahead and actually not be live on the website. Now moving on, we're going to pretend that we're adding a before and after case into our Invisalign category. So I'm going to go ahead and click into Invisalign. And now we're looking at Invisalign cases. And again, much like the creating a new category, you've got the green plus sign here to create a new case. Now, the way I want you to consider cases is really it's just a patient. Every patient is unique. Every case is unique. There's a before and after that goes along with it as well. So really, you just want to kind of keep that association of a case being a patient. I'm going to go ahead here and click Add Case. And it takes us to our Add Case screen here. So default title, case 1, case 2, it's going to automatically assign the appropriate numeric value. That's just to keep in line with HIPAA and all that stuff, which obviously we want to make sure we do. That way we don't add any patient names, things like that. But on this screen is actually some of your best opportunity to really convince Google to pull up your before and after gallery. So underneath your title here, you've got a description field. And this is going to be the content that actually goes along with the before and after image. This is a great opportunity to, add some content that not only explains the case, but also gives you some good juice on Google. So some things I've seen added here before, testimonials from clients, how they found you, descriptions of maybe what the patient was upset with, what you were able to do for them, how ecstatic they are with the results, that type of thing. In general, what I would say is kind of a little tidbit of advice. I would avoid using any kind of medical language that's like over, general consumer level. You're not trying to target other doctors here. You're trying to target other consumers and people who are searching for these different types of procedures. So just keep that in mind when you're actually putting this together. The other thing down here next is the heading override. So in this, you can have the opportunity to actually target geographic locations, much like the example that we used, kind of showcasing and motivating the fact that Google really likes the gallery. So in here, I've got just a case one, Chicago, Illinois. So this would be me targeting, Chicago. I can get a lot smaller than that as well. So if I wanted to target a specific suburb, or maybe it's my, the hometown where my practice is, or maybe even it's a location that's, a few neighborhoods over. That's okay. This is your opportunity to kind of do that and cast a wider net. Now, as you add more cases and create more of these headings, you have more and more different kind of geographic locations that you can target. So definitely something I encourage. If you're not already doing this, definitely jump on and do it. It's showing some really, really good results. So I really encourage you to do this. I'm going to go ahead and leave it just as is, put in a sample little description, just say description, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit add images. So now from there, it takes us into case one images. So we're editing, if you see at the very top of my screen here, we're inside our category Invisalign, we're editing case one, and now we're looking at the images. So this is where we're going to actually get to the main core, obviously, of the gallery itself. For case one images, you've got a white slot here for before and another blank spot here for after. And then below that, we have our image bank. Our image bank is actually what allows us to begin uploading the images. So in this case, I just have some sample before and afters. They're not actual before and afters. They're Abraham Lincoln before and after, but, works the same. So what I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to take my before and after. I'm on a Macintosh, but it should work on a Windows machine as well. And I can actually just take those images and drag them and drop them onto the screen. You can see there, it showed a little green loading bar, loaded pretty quickly. That's great. These are good sized images. They're not, obnoxiously large. But now you can see I have the ability to actually move my before and my after from my image bank. So if I wanted to move my before up here, I just take the little move icon here, drag it on up to before. Boom, it saves, active, we're good to go. And then for the after, that's actually my after, excuse me. And then for the before here, I can drag that up as well. And so that's good to go. Now I just obviously made a mistake. That's the other ones. One's my before, one's my after. I can swap them by just dragging and swapping them around. So now there's my before and there's my after. Let's go ahead and while we're in here, just change the caption as well. So I'm going to type in my new caption and hit save. And save. So what you'll notice here is by default, the status of this has already been set to active. That's so, if you're adding images, you want it to probably go live. Now, for whatever reason, you want to not have it show live yet. Maybe you're waiting on approval or something like that. You can hit the little green button here, switch it to off, and it will no longer show. The other thing you'll notice here is there is now a blank image set for a before and after that automatically populates here on the right-hand side. So if I had more images, like let's say I had a close-up view of Abraham Lincoln's full face smile or something like that, I can then upload those images and take them from the image bank and start loading them up in here. So if I had 6 or 8 different images, I could upload all those images and then just start dragging and dropping them into the appropriate position so that every before matches every after. The key thing in this example that you'll notice as well is he's in pretty much the same position. He's mirrored, but it's really helpful because, I know exactly what the before looked like and exactly what the after looked like. So we can see a few more wrinkles, maybe a little bit of straggly hair and a little beard action going on here. But, you kind of a clear representation of the before and the after. Another thing to point out here is sometimes with images, if you're cropping your images before you're uploading them or something like that, the aspect ratios might get a little bit messed up. So our engineers have added this pretty cool little tool here for cropping. If I click on crop, I have the ability to match one of the photos to the other. So what you'll see here is the dimensions of the photos, and you'll see them side by side. Generally, I would say you want to stick with the smaller one. So you'll see if I click on the one on the right here, it's going to cut out a little bit of the top and the bottom, so that way they match with the height. That way, you know, when you're looking at them side by side, there's not one that's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, that kind of thing. Again, though, this doesn't really replace the way that you upload the image. So if there's like a specific cropping you want to do or the specific resize you want to do, you want to make sure to do that before you actually upload it, and then that way you can make sure that they look good when you come on in here. But if you're going to go ahead and crop, just choose the one you want to crop to, hit the green crop button, and now it's cropped, and we are all set and ready to go. So yeah, that's about it. We just added our first before and after case to Invisalign. If I go back to categories and see the list of categories again, you can see our Invisalign now doesn't say hidden. It has one case, so it's live and populating on the website. And then from here, if I wanted to start all over and start adding more procedures, more cases, that kind of thing, I can just dive on in, add a new category, add a new case, whatever needs to be done. You'll also notice here, these are all draggable as well. So if I was like really wanting to push my Invisalign procedure, I can make that a priority, resort those. And then same thing inside of the different cases. If I had multiple cases in here, I can drag and drop these as well. You can always go back and edit the case names and descriptions as well. So if you go into the list of cases and hit settings, jumps us right back into what we were looking at before. So again, if the main concern is getting a lot of images on the gallery first, get those ahead, go live with those. And then you can come back and add the actual, different heading overrides and descriptions, that kind of thing. But yeah, so in general, that's kind of a quick run through of the interface. For those of you who have been using the older Einstein Gallery, you'll probably find that this is a great upgrade, a lot faster, a lot smoother. I find you can really crank through adding some images on here pretty quickly. So hopefully you're finding that same case as well.